Today's agenda is nervous system, neurology, nerves of head, face, and arms. Neurology is a study of nerves, their structure, function, and diseases. Neuron is the nerve cell. Nerve cell looks like it has a tree-branch top and a stem. The tree-branch top is called dendrites, and the stem part that looks like a stem is axon or axon terminal. This is the nerve cell. Dendrites receive impulses from other nerve cells. The axon or axon terminal part of the nerve sends impulses to other nerves or parts of the body. Parts of the nervous system are brain, spinal cord, and nerves. Nervous system is divided to central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, autonomic nervous system. Central nervous system consists of the brain, spinal cord, and spinal nerves. Central nervous system controls consciousness, controls mental activities, voluntary functions of seeing, feeling, hearing, smelling, tasting, and it controls body movements and facial expressions. Peripheral nervous system is made up of sensory and motor nerve fibers that connect to outer peripheral parts of the body to central nervous system, carrying messages to and from central nervous system. So central nervous system is brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system is other parts of the body other than brain and spinal cord. Autonomic nervous system controls the involuntary muscles and regulates the activity of the body parts that work without consciousness, like various blood vessels, heart muscle, and any smooth muscles that are involuntary. Brain controls the central nervous system, is the largest mass of tissue in the body, contains 12 pairs of cranial nerves, and weighs from 44 to 48 ounces. Spinal cord originates in the brain. There are two kinds of nerves, sensory and motor. Sensory nerves carry impulses to the brain. Like if you felt the curling iron burn your finger, the sensory nerves carry that feeling to the brain, kind of telling the brain, hey, I burned my finger. The motor nerve fibers carry impulses from the brain. The brain, now realizing that the finger was burned, sends a message, remove the finger from the curling iron. Reflex is an automatic nerve response. Reflexes do not have to be learned. When there is a bright light, they close their eyes by reflex immediately. Nerves of head, face, and neck. Fifth cranial, trifacial, trigeminal. Fifth cranial, trigeminal nerve has three branches. Ophthalmic supplies the nerves to the eye area, opthalmic. Maxillary supplies the nerves to the top part of the teeth, to the nose, and mandibular. Do you remember the mandible, the movable bone, mandibular? This is why I always ask you to memorize the bones. Once you memorize the bones, you will memorize where the nerves are. Maxillary, mandible, mandibular. Ophthalmic, you remember just eye, ophthalmic. So when you go to the state board, you'll have a visual and you'll have a little memory trick to remember. Fifth cranial branches. Auriculotemporal nerve. Auriculotemporal nerve is around the ear, affects external ear and skin above the temple. You remember the auricular muscles, auricular superior, auricular anterior, auricular posterior. If you remember the word auri, you will remember the location. Auriculotemporal nerve, external ear and above the temple. Infraorbital nerve affects the skin of lower eyelids, side of the nose, upper lip and mouth. Infratrochlear nerve affects membrane of skin of the nose. Mental nerve, nerve for the lower lip and chin area. Nasal nerve affects point and lower side of the nose. Supraorbital nerve affects skin of forehead, scalp, eyebrow, upper eyelids. Supratrochlear nerve affects the skin below the eyelids and upper side of the nose. Zygomatic nerve affects the muscles of the upper part of the cheeks. The seventh cranial nerve is the chief motor nerve from lower part of the ear, controls the muscles of the facial expression and extends to the muscles of the neck. Posterior auricular nerve affects muscles behind the ear at the base of the skull. Temporal nerve affects the muscles of the temple and the side of the forehead. Buccal nerve affects the muscles of the mouth. Mandibular nerve, the chin and lower lip. Cervical nerve affects the side of the neck and the platysma muscle. The platysma muscle is in the front triangular muscle of the neck. Cervical nerves of the head. Greater occipital on the top of the head. Smaller occipital at the base area of the head. Greater auricular in the front of the ear. Cervical cutaneous serves the vertebrae that goes all the way down to the breastbone, the cutaneous nerve. And 11 cutaneous nerve that controls the motion of the neck and shoulder muscles. Nerves of arm and hand, digital, supplies to the finger and hands. The nerves of the hands and finger, the ulnar. Ulnar is the one that supplies the nerves to the little finger and its side. The radial supplies the nerves to the thumb area. And the median nerve supplies to hand and arm. It's a smaller branch than the others, the ulna and the radius.